Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a weighted grade book in Brightspace. Now, this is an unnecessarily complicated thing to do in Brightspace because you have to set up the activity first and then the grade if you're going to have anything due in Brightspace. If you're not doing anything in Brightspace, you're just manually grading anything and you just need to put the grades into the grade book, then you don't have to do the activities part. You just have to set up the grades in the grade book. So let's look at what if you're doing quizzes or you have an essay that they have to upload in Brightspace that you're grading in Brightspace. What do you do first to connect that to the grade book? You're going to go to activities and we're just going to practice setting up a quiz. You're going to say new assessment. So I have to set up, so I'm just going to go ahead and import a quiz so I don't have to write a question. If you want to know how to do this, you can email me. Okay, so notice I have 25 questions, they're worth 1 point, so automatically it told me what the grade is. I can't say a grade until I have questions. But notice it says not in grade book. Let me just title that quiz 1 real quick. So I have to link it to the grade book. If I have my categories already set up or my items set up, then I can hit edit or link to a grade and it will automatically do that. If I don't, it'll ask me to create and link, or I can just say not in gradebook. So I'm going to go ahead and say create and link. And then down here, you want to make sure auto publish is on. That means that as soon as they submit the test, it will automatically appear in the gradebook. If that's not clicked, then that means that you have to manually put those in for that grade to show. So I'm also going to make sure that it is visible. I'm going to hit save and close. So you just repeat this for whatever grades you have. For discussion boards and assignment folders, it's pretty much the same basic kind of setup. But now I need to set up the grade book itself. So I've set up the activities that I'm going to grade them on if I am doing those assignments in Brightspace, right? If I'm not, then all I have to do is this next part. So what I'm going to do is I have to run the setup wizard the first time I'm in here. Now you can run the setup wizard at any time if you need to go in and mess with grades, or just click settings, and all of the things that you see in the setup wizard are pretty much here as well. They're just a shortcut. You don't have to click through something. So let's go ahead and hit setup wizard. Okay, scroll to the bottom and hit start. Now it's defaulted to points grade, so I want to click weighted because that's what we're learning in this video. And then you have calculated final grades. Now this is really weird because sometimes this is the default. So again, don't know why it changes in Brightspace sometimes. The difference in the two is that calculated final grade basically means whatever grade that I put in the grade book is going to be divided by whatever the total points are, and that's what they get. Adjusted means I see that one grade, that calculated grade, but I also have an extra column where I can go in and adjust grades at the end. Let's say I have a student that comes in at 89.43%. They've worked really hard. I want to go ahead and give them an A in the class. I can go in and just put how many total points I want the system to see for them. If I have calculated final grades only, then I would have to go in and maybe adjust individual grades or add bonus points or something to that to get it there. So this again depends on how you're going to do it. I like calculated final grades. I like to say automatically release final grade. So that basically means that that final one is, they can view it, right? Pretty simple. So just go ahead and check that. Here I want to keep these settings as is, so just hit continue. I don't have any other grade schemes. I can create grade schemes. This is the default, but I would have to do that by going into schemes once I finish running the setup wizard. So we're just going to hit continue. Usually this is defaulted to 2. I don't like showing decimal points in my gradebook, so I just change it to 0. Do what you want. And then here, this usually defaults where point grade and grade scheme color, I don't know why it's got different defaults for some reason. This is usually what you see here, right? So I want them, if I only want them to see basically the weighted grade, I don't want to see them how many points they actually made on an assignment. Then I leave this blank. And notice this is student view. I like them to see what points they made. I also like them to see the grade scheme color. And then I put this to 0. Everything else is the same. Sometimes this is not clicked, so I click it. And then that is everything. I hit finish. But what it hasn't done is it hasn't shown me the managing users view, which is my view. And again, oftentimes it's set up like this where I don't see their points and I don't see the grade scheme color, which I like to see because it lets me see very clearly who is failing, who's making an A, because I know what that color is. So I'm going to hit points and all that. I'm going to hit save. And then I always like to just come in here and double check that nothing has glitched. Everything else is the same. And again, if you decide to change any of this at any time, you just come to settings and you can fix these very quickly. You don't have to run the wizard again. So because I don't need to I haven't changed anything, I don't have to set save again. I just can hit close. And now everything's fine. Now, notice it says this calculates to 10, sums to 10%, not 100%. That's because I don't have categories set up. It's weighted grade, so it's going to expect to see 100 points in categories. So now I want to set that up. So I'm going to hit category. So a category is basically the major percentages that all the assignments are going to fall underneath. So let's say assessments in my class is one of my categories. And then I'm going to tell it what weight do I want to give that out of 100. Let's say I want tests to be 25%. Now you have this interesting group. Manually assign weight to items in the category, distribute weights by points across all items, and distribute weight evenly. So the difference in the three is if I want to determine which test is worth more, no matter how many points it is, then I want to hit manually assign. If I want the test with the most points to weigh more, then I want that second one. If I want everything to count equally, let's say I have 10 quizzes and they're all worth 10 points, then distribute weight evenly across all items makes sense because that means that everything is just 10% of that final grade, right? That final category. I like to do this one so that it doesn't matter what I do. The quizzes and tests that are worth more points are going to count more in the weighted category. Everything else can stay the same. Notice that these are the things that I set in the setup wizard. If I need to override for that one item for whatever reason, I can click this and that will allow me to mess with that. That I don't need to do that. So I'm going to hit save and close. Now notice it says it counts as 35%. So I still need to add my other categories. So let's say I'm just going to say essays, and that's going to be worth 75%. And again, distribute equally, save and close. Now it says 100. So why is it still saying 110%, not 100? That's because I've got this quiz that I've not put into a category. So here's the final thing. Everything that I add, I need to assign to a category. So I'm going to have the quiz name down. Here's where I do that. I'm going to put it in assessments. Right. And then it's just going to say, again, the maximum weight has already been set for the category, so I don't have to do anything there. And I hit save. And notice that little warning went away. So anything under assessments, no matter how much total points all of my quizzes are, they're not going to count more than 25% of my final grade. And again, I can set up as many categories as I want as long as they don't count more than 100%. Now, when you're doing bonus is also something that can be a little tricky in Brightspace. I can set up a category outside of all of these that is bonus if I just want the overall grade to be lifted. Now that means that bonus is going to go over 100 and I'm going to get a warning, but it's okay. It's not going to mess up my grade scheme. It's just warning me that I've got more than 100%. So let's say I only want bonus to count as 2%. So no matter how many bonus points they get, it's only going to affect, they can only lift their grade as much as 2%, right? Again, I'm going to say distribute weight by points. It really doesn't matter for bonus. And then I'm going to say allow category to exceed category weight. That means if they get more points, right? So I hit that one. Now I'm going to get this warning, but it's okay. If they don't earn any bonus, then that's not going to affect their grade. If they earn bonus, then that's just going to lift their grade 2%. And because I say that their grade can exceed 100%, then they're okay. Now, if I want to only add bonus to a category, then I'm going to add an item. Let's say that's going to be a bonus quiz. I'm going to put it in assessments. Let's say the maximum points is 10%, right? It's going to count as bonus. I can say it can exceed. So let's say I've got somebody that aces every single test, and this is going to mean extra, right? So now if I don't want the bonus to count 10 points, I can say no matter what they score on the bonus, it's only going to count as 1 point bonus in that category. I hit save, and so then it's going to have that little number right there. Right. So again, the how you do the bonus is basically affected by here we want to say can exceed. Right. So that means if someone actually makes more points than what the 100 points, then that's okay because that's bonus. Really, if they make over 100, it doesn't matter because they're going to make an A anyway. But that's basically how you do it. And then if I'm going to set up a bonus quiz, then I'm going to come in here. I'm going to say link to an existing, right? Right, and there it is. I can click down, but it's only going to allow me to click the ones that haven't already been assigned or assessed. And let's say I'm going to add one question. True or false? Okay, and then I'm going to make it there. So, and then all of that. So this is synchronize or to grade on publish. So for some reason, sometimes it's checked, sometimes it's not. I really don't know why. So we're just going to leave that is. Then I'm going to hit save and close. Now that is a bonus quiz, right? Notice I didn't have a place to tell it if it's bonus or not. That's what I have to do over in the grade book, right? Again, why it is a pain. So notice since I already have it set up as a bonus, there's no problem, right? And you're not going to see anything here in intergrades until you have students, and then you'll see all of the grades listed across the screen. Okay, I hope that clears up any confusion about the grade book. Again, you can always follow up with extra questions if you have them. Bye-bye.